I had just enough time to Google you before you called. After hearing from Judith Kelman that you were to be my writing coach, I went straight to the computer. Judith hadn't said much, just that you were a comedy writer and that she had a feeling we would be a good match. She didn't say anything about Dick Van Dyke, Mary Tyler Moore, Kate and Allie, or that you had created that girl. She didn't mention the 5-time Emmy Award winner part. I was halfway through your Wikipedia biography when you called. Hello?
Is this Erin Cummings, the writer?
Hello, Mr. Persky?
That's me. So Judith told me all about you.
Oh, Mr. Persky, I just want you to know that I'm a huge fan. I mean, that girl was my favorite show growing up. Marlo Thomas was my hero. I'm so honored to be working with you.
Terrific, but how about we talk about you?
Oh, sure. Okay, Mr. Persky.
Erin, it's Billy.
We talked for almost an hour. Skipping the details you told me about your own cancer, downplaying it as if to say, apparently I'm still alive, so I'm not complaining. I told you about my history with Hodgkin's lymphoma. I even shared a bit of my family saga, a tale that would make Peyton Place look like a wonderful life. You were both horrified and enthralled.
Holy shit, that's a hell of a story. Start writing about anything. Just write and send it to me. Whatever you've got, and we'll go over it.
Okay, Mr. Persky, will do. I'll start writing right away.
Erin, it's Billy.
We hung up. I was terrified. I wasn't even sure I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to tell a story of being a lonely, scared teenager who was given a lousy prognosis but survived anyway. I did not have a background in writing. I had not written anything more poignant than a holiday letter. And I sure as hell did not want to be matched with someone who had a career in television. I thought about calling Judith back and saying, "You've made a mistake. I'm going to disappoint this guy. He is so out of my league. I don't even have a league." Quitting was not my style, however. So I got busy writing. You had given me a few pointers like,
Don't tell me, show me. And also, when you know what you want to say, think of how you want to say it and make it your own.
I had no idea what that meant. I just kept writing anyway. When I finally came up with something that I felt was Billy-worthy, I held my breath and hit send. You wrote back an hour later.
This is great. I love it. Let's meet and go over it.
Really? You liked it? You really liked it? I felt like Sally Field at the Oscars. A week later, I stood at the auditorium in Memorial Sloan Kettering, scanning the crowd that was filing in for the Visible Ink annual staged live performance, looking for a guy with graying hair and aggressively bushy eyebrows. I finally spotted you, sporting your trademark purple sweater, khaki pants, and sneakers. When I found the courage to introduce myself, you answered me with a hug and a hearty laugh, greeting me as if we were old friends.
I'm really glad you came. I wanted you to see this.
By see this, you meant sitting in stunned silence with hundreds of other survivors, listening to the all too familiar tales of anguish and optimism, battles won and lost, and the desperate need to hang on to hope. When it was over, and I had quietly brushed aside a few tears, you turned to me and smiled with a twinkle in your eye.
Well?
I'm speechless. I really don't know what to say. Just that I guess I'm not alone after all. Somehow you had figured it out, how scared I really was. And not just about whether or not I could write, but that writing would mean putting into words the things I'd rather forget. You wanted me to be there that night, to feel brave again. And I did. I want to do this someday. I want my story to be read like that. You smiled again, as if you already knew what I'd say. From that moment on, you would use your magical, irreverent sense of humor and your enormous heart to make it happen. You had more faith in me than I did. I think you still do. Judith was right. We make a pretty good team.